Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And yeah, I picked up another mini bike, and why do I need another mini bike and all that other stuff. But let's take a quick look at it. I believe it's a newer bike because it's plastic under here, right? You don't put plastic under a seat in the 1970s. It has this Predator engine on it, the 6.5 horsepower version. I also think that was swapped at some point. I don't think this originally came with that. And the reason why is it seems to have some chain alignment issues and so forth. I think that's just your basic China clutch. I don't see where it says Predator on it, but you can see it's been worked on a little. And if you look closely at the chain alignment, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, it appears as if the chain needs to come out a little more, which is another reason why I'm thinking that this engine was an add-on. The engine's complete. It's got the screen on it, right? I'm not sure what kind of good that foot peg does for you. Now, why did I buy it? By the way, it was $100, and I got this at Morningstar. And why did I buy it? Quite honestly, if you are looking at a mini bike, just a mini bike beater project, it's kind of hard to come up with the components for that money. As you're looking at a clutch and, you know, the wheels, sprockets, seat, frame, and all that. At some point, right, you could see that bar is in. Somebody must have done the crash and burn with it. By the way, there's another reason why it's probably a cheap thing. It does have compression. It does start, run, and move. The kickstand is also missing. How old is it? By the number of layers of paint, if you count them like you do the rings on a tree, I think it's a little bit over 100 years old. I'm kidding. It's probably 5 to 10 years old, right? Somewhere 2008. It's probably, it could be 15 years old. They brought a lot of this stuff into the United States starting around 2000, so it could be somewhere around there. The cables aren't in great shape, though. They appear to be complete. I would have run this cable like this, so you didn't have to put that nasty bend to it. It appears as if there would have been plenty of cable to do that. And they have the cables way tight. Probably needs brake pads. I'm not sure if that's the front tire that came with it. That looks like the right back tire, though it might have been changed at some point because it doesn't. I think the motor was changed, so I'm thinking the back tire might have been. Maybe the front tire's OEM and the back's been changed. You guys could see the fenders are missing. They were probably plastic, like underneath the seat, and they broke. I've been after a mini bike to work on, a project to work on, that I can actually alter the frame or do some other stuff with it, perhaps turn it into a three-wheeler or extend it, or, you know, do something. But the last couple of mini bikes I picked up, if you remember, I picked up a Rudman, and then I picked up an Alexander Reynolds. They're not really a bike that you would you'd want to cut up on, or at least I wouldn't want to cut up on, right? They actually have some value to them, where, you know, the cheap China stuff has no value. You just want to pay attention, because as I try to bend that handlebar back, you know, it'd be very easy to snap it right off there, or to put a kink in it such that should you take it on the lawn, you might be driving with one hand and the other one hanging onto a piece of pipe in the air. So, you know, do beware of the limitations. Should anybody be buying a mini bike, one of the spots you really want to look, and you want to look on both sides, is right here, because a lot of times they'll crack, and you really want to, you know, spend a few moments running your fingers and hands over that to make sure they're not cracked. Down here also likes to crack. Typically not all that much stress in the back, so it doesn't crack there. So I just wanted to introduce you to my $100 mini bike project. The nice thing about mini bike projects is you could drag it out and do a one video of them where, you know, in the case I'm not doing it immediately, so I would reintroduce it as the $100 project. Then you could do a quick disassembly. It would only take, especially with automation here, it only take a few minutes to get the paint off the frame, touch up any spots that are ugly with a welder. Actually, the first thing I would do is I'd get this alignment straightened out. You really want to get that done. Then strip it all down, clean it up, paint it. I'm partial to Honda colors, so it would probably be red and black, right? The black of the motor against the red frame. That's what I would do. I probably wouldn't put fenders on it, and the reason why is it would only be going up and down the driveway. Who knows? It's cheap China stuff. There's no reason to fall in love with it. If anybody ever wants to get it back, you could always do that. I just want to quickly go through some of my recent comments. If you guys want to just take a minute. Kenneth03 asked all to show a video of all the ATCs together. That's about impossible because they exist in the basement in at least a half a dozen sheds and boxes, car boxes, and I mean, they're just all over the place. Quite honestly, I could just go into one shed and spend a 15-minute video talking about what's in there before I move on. So, Probe Team and Iron Man both mentioned using that shower rack as a can caddy. It looks too small. I checked it too. It's not deep enough, so to speak. So, good idea, but I think one would have to buy the $2 model. You're not going to get away with the $1 model. Though it'd probably be easy enough to bend into a shape such that it would caddy cans fairly easily. Jake Williams has a shop full of stuff and trying to organize. I got to tell you, I got beyond the shop full of stuff. I got like a basement full of tools, a garage full of tools, the upper garage full of tools, and it's really, really tough. I think the only thing one could do is pick a spot that you're working and try to organize that spot. You're never going to do them all. Try to make one spot that works for you, then make a decision. Am I going to go for a mobile toolbox that'll cover 3/4 of what I need to do, or you know, 80% or 90% of what I want to do? And the problem is, as you go up from each level of how much do I want to do out of my toolbox, your toolbox like doubles in weight, right? Do I just want a toolbox to do mechanical stuff? Well, that's one set of tools that's pretty heavy. Oh, I want to do some electrical stuff. Well, you throw in a meter, a test light. What kind of electrical? 110 or 12 volt? Well, test lights for both. Meter. Some people find that analog meters are helpful for some things and digital ones are helpful for others. You know, and all this stuff keeps adding to your toolbox. So you really just got to pick a spot and organize it the best you can. And maybe you only have a 4 by 8 foot spot where your tools are and they're organized, and that's where they are. Even within that spot, it's about impossible to put all your tools in, because how are you going to have like a drill press and a bandsaw and a table saw and a circular saw and a reciprocating saw and a vibrating saw? I mean, so it's tough. Your tools are tough. It's it's almost like an ice cream cone. It's kind of personal the way you set it up. So I mean, you can see I battle with it, and I wish you good luck with your battle. Bellevue, the magnet logo is upside down. Yeah, I noticed that when I was doing the video. I'm probably going to cut the part where there's no magnets and kind of sink the screws a little differently. And I was actually thinking of putting a second magnetic strip literally right above that, stretch so that they cover more of the board so I could get more tools. And with the double magnets, tools will not fall off of there should you kind of fumble one as you're taking one off. So Dave Kimber, a lot of good comments coming from you. You like to use the pegboard because you can see what's missing. That is 100% true, especially if you could walk up to your work table. You walk right up to it. All the tools are right behind it. You can see what's missing. Perfect. My problem is I started to set up like that on the right-hand side of the upper garage where the 400EX is. And the next thing I knew, I put a set of shelves behind it, so I couldn't put a pegboard behind the toolbox because the shelves were there, and I want to access what's on the shelves. I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm my worst enemy. Also, along the right-hand wall of the upper shop, once again, by the 400EX, I was going to put a pegboard along that wall. And then, you know, it's a really strong bench, so I started putting other stuff. So, once again, I'm my own worst enemy. So I decided to take the left-hand side, set myself up the tools I need to use almost every day, and try to, you know, just use the other areas for storage. And New Jersey Devil Dog, plastic tool holders, you're right, they do typically take up more space than the metal ones. But you know, when it comes to holding tools, I really think you got to go mix and match. You know, you're not quite sure what you're going to use for everything and anything, and so you kind of go with that. I'm going to stop the comments here. I'm going to keep changing the videos, kind of a little here and a little there, and see what you guys like and don't like. Please provide me some feedback on this so I have an idea of where to go. I want to make these videos as user-friendly, as enjoyable for you guys as possible. I do enjoy making them, but I also enjoy growing the channel, right? And if you guys don't like what I'm doing, growing the channel is kind of hard, right? You guys actually need to provide me with some thoughts with that. You know, like everybody out there, I'm just a person who wakes up every day and tries to make my way in the world. So some days, you know, we have good days. Some days we have bad days. Some days I'm kind of on the ball and I'm really moving forward and making progress, and some days I'm, you know, tripping over my pajama bottoms and I can't make it to the bathroom without getting lost. So do remember, I'm a person on video. I'm a million miles from perfect. None of us are, and you know, we just do our best, right? We all just try to do our best. I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and, you know, enjoy every single day you're given. You don't know how many you're going to get, so get out there and have fun. Bye now.